Hey Hammers fans, before we get started, make sure to drop a like, leave your comment, and subscribe to the channel. West Ham United are once again in one of those moments where fans feel a mix of hope and frustration. The attacking department, which for years has carried a kind of curse, has become a concern again after Niklas Füllkrug's injury. German striker was signed in August 2024 to bring goals experience and physical presence in the box. But in his very first key appearances, an injury ruled him out, forcing him to miss the Tottenham clash and raising alarms at the club. This situation reignites an old debate among Hammers fans. Why does the club struggle so much to find a reliable centre forward? Since Marko Arnautovic's departure in 2019, West Ham have invested and gambled on several names, but results rarely met expectations. Sebastian Haller arrived as a record signing with a promising profile and star status from the Bundesliga. But despite flashes, he never fully adapted to the Premier League, leaving through the back door and only succeeding later when he's shown at Ajax and then Borussia Dortmund. Soon after came Gianluca Scamacca, young Italian and with a reputation. As a Serie A goal scorer, he arrived as a hope for the future. But once again, the story repeated itself. Injuries, adaptation struggles, and little patience cut his time short. The Hammers faithful, who had placed so much expectation on him, saw the same film play out again. More money spent, more unfulfilled promises, and a persistent void in attack. In that context, Michail Antonio held things together. The Jamaican converted into a striker by the symbol of the team's grit and determination. For quite some time, he was the attacking reference, the man battling defenders holding the ball up and trying to decide matches in key moments. But time spares no one. Antonio no longer has the same stamina, suffers frequent injuries, and can no longer be the sole solution for a club dreaming of bigger things. It was in this scenario that the board believed Niklas Füllkrug could be the missing piece. An experienced striker accustomed to the Bundesliga, capable of scoring in different ways, and above all of sharing responsibilities with Jarrod Bowen. Currently the team's main attacking figure, the idea was simple: Bowen, incisive and decisive from the wing, and Füllkrug as the target man, thriving on crosses and set pieces. But reality showed another side, right away an injury. The German's absence reopens the wound and lays bare the fragility of the squad. West Ham, who are already struggling to reorganize their midfield after Declan Rice's departure and the attempted renewal with Matteas Fernandes and Sungutu, Magasa now face another challenge: how to remain competitive without a reliable centre forward. It is in this context that news emerges of the club considering the signing of Paco Alcácer, the 32-year-old Spanish striker who is currently a free agent. The rules allow it. Unattached players can sign at any time, even outside the transfer window. For some, it may sound like a stopgap. For others, it's an opportunity. After all, Alcácer boasts an impressive resume: goals in La Liga spells with Barcelona and Borussia Dortmund, and 12 goals in 19 matches for Spain. The possibility of bringing in Alcácer sparks curiosity among fans. Could he be that veteran who, even if away from the spotlight in recent years, can still offer experience and composure in decisive moments? A player who has already shown on big stages and now sees at West Ham the chance to write one last great chapter of his career. Whatever the perspective, the fact is the club cannot afford to go without alternatives. The Premier League is unforgiving. A poor run can cost precious places in the table, and also increase the pressure on manager Graham Potter, who is still trying to convince the fans and consolidate his work. More than just an emergency signing, such a move would represent a statement of intent. It would show that West Ham are alert, willing to react, and conscious that they cannot repeat past mistakes. The risk is there, of course. Free agents are usually without a club for some time, raising doubts about fitness and match sharpness. But on the other hand, the cost is lower, and the chance of finding an immediate solution may well be worth it. Hammers fans know well that the greatest heroes often emerge in times of adversity. It is precisely in these uncertain periods that a new idol can be born. And perhaps Paco Alcácer could be the missing piece to finally turn the page and give West Ham a more reliable attack. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Claret and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. For those who follow European football, Paco Alcácer needs no introduction. The Spanish striker began his career at Valencia, where he quickly emerged as one of the brightest promises of his generation. His lethal finishing, intelligent positioning, and instinct inside the penalty area earned him early recognition and call-ups to the Spanish national team. From the very beginning, it was clear he was destined for a career among Europe's elite. Inevitably, the big clubs came knocking. In 2016, Barcelona secured his signature, convinced he could serve as a key alternative to Luis Suarez and strengthen an already frightening attack. At Barcelona, however, Alcácer encountered one of the greatest challenges imaginable. Competing for playing time with Suarez, Messi, and Neymar, perhaps the most feared trio of their era, was nearly impossible. Opportunities were limited. But Alcácer still managed to make his mark when called upon, scoring important goals and proving his nose for the net. Yet the lack of consistency and regular starts meant he could never fully establish himself. Ambitious and hungry to play more, he made the difficult decision to leave in search of greater responsibility elsewhere. That choice led to what many consider the pinnacle of his career, his loan to Borussia Dortmund in 2018. In Germany, Alcácer experienced an electrifying rebirth. He arrived with immediate impact, scoring goals at a stunning rate, and in a matter of weeks had become a cult hero of the Yellow Wall. His ability to come off the bench and instantly change matches was remarkable, and his composure in front of goal made headlines across Europe. Analysts compared his goals per minute ratio with some of the most prolific strikers in history. For a time, Alcácer wasn't just effective, he was unplayable. Following that spell, Villarreal placed their faith in him, bringing him back to La Liga. There, Alcácer continued to display his sharpness and finishing, but the first signs of physical fragility began to appear. Injuries disrupted his rhythm, preventing him from reaching his full potential. Still, he contributed with goals in key moments and left his mark in domestic and European competitions. Later, a move to Al Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates represented a new chapter one in which he sought minutes, financial stability, and a reset away from the relentless pressure of European football. Now at 31, Alcácer finds himself at a crossroads, a proven goal scorer, free on the market, and eager for one final opportunity at the highest level. This is where West Ham United enter the picture. The idea of signing Alcácer has undeniable logic. The club desperately needs a reliable striker, and Alcácer brings pedigree, experience, and the kind of finishing instinct that can make the difference in tight Premier League matches. He has played for Barcelona, shared dressing rooms with world-class players, stood on some of football's biggest stages, and faced the pressure that comes with them. Few available strikers can offer such a resume. Moreover, his profile suits West Ham's immediate needs, a penalty box predator, a player who requires little invitation to score, someone capable of converting half chances into decisive goals. Of course there are concerns. His recent injury record raises legitimate questions, as does the lack of match sharpness from competing outside Europe's top leagues. But these same factors make him attainable. Without a transfer fee, Alcácer could be signed swiftly and registered in time to address West Ham's current crisis up front. For the striker, the move would represent not just another contract, but a personal mission to prove that he still belongs on the biggest stages. From a tactical perspective, Graham Potter could integrate Alcácer seamlessly into his system. He could serve as the central target man, allowing Jarrod Bowen to attack more freely from wide areas, exploiting spaces created by Alcácer's presence. With creative players like Lucas Paqueta and promising midfielder Matteas Fernandes supplying passes, the Spaniard could thrive as the final piece in attacking sequences. West Ham have often lacked a pure finisher in recent seasons, and Alcácer fits that description perfectly. His movement, anticipation, and natural instinct to be in the right place at the right time could transform the Hammers' attacking dimension. Unsurprisingly, fans are split. One section of the Hammers' faithful fears, another repeat of past disappointments. Big names who arrived with expectations but failed to deliver. They point to the risk of signing a player with recent fitness struggles, worrying it may be another short-lived experiment. On the other hand, optimism runs high among those who see Alcácer as an opportunity not to be missed. A striker with international experience, 12 goals in just 19 games for Spain, and proven success in both La Liga and the Bundesliga doesn't appear on the free market often. To some, it feels like the kind of calculated gamble that can change a season. Should West Ham move decisively for Alcácer, it would be more than just an opportunistic market signing. It would be a statement, a message to fans, rivals, and the dressing room that the club refuses to accept weakness after Nicholas Füllkrug's injury, that it is willing to take bold steps to remain competitive, and that experience and pedigree still have immense value in the modern game. And perhaps this could be the perfect setting for Alcácer's redemption. The Premier League has always celebrated comeback stories, players written off elsewhere, who arrive in England and through resilience and passion earn adoration. Alcácer has lived the highs and endured the lows, but he still carries the hunger to prove himself once again. If he can rediscover even a glimpse of the form he showed at Dortmund, West Ham supporters will quickly embrace him as one of their own. Ultimately, this is about far more than simply signing another striker. It is about breaking the long-standing curse that has haunted West Ham's attack. It is about providing Bowen Paqueta and the rest of the squad with a reliable partner, someone who can shoulder responsibility and relieve the pressure from others. For Graham Potter, Alcácer would be a valuable tool. For the board, a bold but calculated risk. For Paco Alcácer, it may well be the last chance to remind Europe of the talent that once made him one of Spain's deadliest forwards. And for West Ham fans, it could mark the beginning of a love story with a striker who arrives doubted, but has all the qualities needed to leave his name etched forever in the memory of the London Stadium. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Clare and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. Matteas Fernandes is living a dream week. In just a few days, the young midfielder has not only been confirmed as a record signing for West Ham, but also shown in his Premier League debut and had the honor of wearing the captain's armband for Portugal's under-21 national team. For a 21-year-old, this sequence of events is the kind of moment that can define an entire career. His arrival at West Ham had already generated huge excitement. Signed for more than $40 million, Matteas Fernandes became the third most expensive signing in the club's history, behind only Lucas Paqueta and Sebastian Haller. The weight of such an investment naturally brings massive pressure, but he showed no fear. On his debut against Nottingham Forest, he displayed personality straight away. In a quick move with Lucas Paqueta, he won the foul that changed the rhythm of the match and left no doubt that he could be a protagonist in midfield. And as if that weren't enough, just days later, he returned to his country to wear the Portuguese under-21 shirt. Not only did he feature, but he was chosen as captain in his 17th appearance for the side. It was he who started the move for the opening goal in a 5-0 victory over Azerbaijan, confirming his central role in the team. The Portuguese press highlighted his physical strength, his ability to drive forward through midfield, and his knack for combining quick passes that break defenses open. Most importantly, the captain's armband was more than just a piece of fabric. It was recognition that Matteas Fernandes is already seen as the heartbeat of the team, a natural leader. This perfect week highlights two very clear points. First, that West Ham were right to gamble big on a young player who already shows maturity beyond his years. Second, that Matteas Fernandes is not just a prospect for the future. He is already a reality. At the London Stadium, both fans and staff see him as the player capable of transforming the midfield, adding dynamism, strength, and creativity to an area that since Declan Rice's departure had been crying out for new leaders to lead the Portuguese national side, and at the same time make an immediate impact in the Premier League is not something just anyone can do. It takes personality, talent, and ambition. Matteas Fernandes has already shown he possesses all of that. His instant chemistry with Lucas Paqueta is another major positive, as the two seem to understand each other on the pitch, a partnership that could yield great rewards for West Ham. The captain's armband for Portugal was not just a strip of fabric, it was a statement a statement that he is already respected as a leader. And when that respect arrives so early, the natural progression is that he will also become a leader at his club, not only for his technical ability, but by example. If his Premier League debut was the first step, his performance with Portugal was the confirmation. Matteas Fernandes is ready to take on responsibility. He has shown he can withstand the weight of a record fee, carry the trust of a passionate fan base, and at the same time represent his national team with pride as captain. What the future holds remains unknown, but the present is already promising. West Ham may have in Matteas Fernandes not just one of the biggest signings in their history, but also a player who could go on to define an era at the club. For Hammers, supporters who so highly value fight determination and flair, this beginning is a genuine reason to believe that a new star is being born in East London. And that's all for today's West Ham news. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with fellow fans, and of course subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Come on, you Irons!